All right, should be recording, and these are big uploads to YouTube, so I'm going to get moving. All right, heads up, please. So this is the interceptor, right? What this, the normal routes for this thing, and I'm going to get rid of this because this was confusing. Obviously, I cut and paste this from the lecture, and that's why they're there. We don't use next on our normal routes. Only when you get to the graduate level when you start doing it. These, so here's our normal routes. Okay, foo and bar. And all they're going to do is return text. We're not using mustache. Cool? So when a request goes into any URL, foo bar or something that I don't even have, this interceptor is going to run, right? Interceptor is going to run. And what it does is it says, is there, the very first line, it says, in my vars variable, and this is old school. We don't do this anymore. We use let. Whoever coded this has been coding for a long time because they're still stuck on var. Let the views variable equal the views property on the request session. It may or may not be there because that doesn't come, the request session we get, it comes no gives us. And it has a bunch of properties, but it doesn't have the view property. So as you can see from the next line, the next 3 lines, and you can glean this out of the code, because it says, if there are no views, go create a view to an empty object. That's, hopefully you got your head around enough JavaScript to know that that's what those lines are going.
And the exclamation mark just means
not. So everything in JavaScript, when you do if, resolves to a truthy or a false. This is an object, in this, when this doesn't exist, this is going to be falsy, the not makes it truthful. All right? Remember truthy, falsy? Okay? So, if the views doesn't exist, it's a falsy, and the not says flip it. So, if this is true, it goes into the if code.
And it must be an object.
Views is an, everything in JavaScript is an object, pretty much. Yeah. Almost everything in JavaScript is an object. So, yeah.
This is not the same views as you were thinking about
Oh, it's not
earlier.
those views.
When we had that file.
Let's change the name of it. This is not the views that we put mustache in. Let's call this tracker. Because it's a better name. All right, where else do I use views in here?
You have it next to views equals.
Ah, thank you. And I got it here, here. I could have done a global replace on it, probably would have been faster. Okay. Bump, 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 back up to here. So, let's call it tracker instead of views, just so we don't overuse the word views. All right? Tracker, does tracker exist? No, it does not. I'm going to make it simpler. Simpler, simpler, simpler. Give me a moment. I'm going to make it simpler. Okay, I like that better. This line of code says, if on the request session, trust me, there is a request session, node gives us that. That's just something that I'm imparting on you. There is, if you look at the node thing for this, you'll see that there is a session object off of node. Is there a tracker property, a tracker object off of there? If there's not, go set it to an object. Okay, this is where we're creating the tracker object. And then let's, instead of having to type this over and over again, let's just put it in that variable. These lines of code here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines of code. Yes?
Is tracker something that you're gonna have to create elsewhere so that it
No.
knows what to look for?
I'm only going to use it in this function here. I mean, it will exist. It'll exist on the session object, so I can go in other methods. Once I create it here, in other methods, it'll still be there for other requests from the same client. Okay? So what happens is, this session is for this client that's hitting it. If another client hits it, that session is going to be, it's still going to be there, but it's going to be the session for the other client. If the third client hits it, when this code runs, that session will be, that session is unique to each client that comes and hits it. Okay? That session is set up by that cookie that is passed back and forth. So when Gil's computer, if I have this running out on the internet, okay, and somebody came into this code, this would be the session for my browser. When you hit it with your browser, this would be the session for your browser. These sessions are specific to whoever browser is hitting it. Yes?
So, I think the request that you wanted, REQ, is what's being sent from the browser.
That's what node, okay, so what happens is when you type something in your Chrome URL and you hit go or enter or whatever, Chrome creates an HTTP request with a whole bunch of headers and a whole bunch of stuff, okay? It uses the internet to send it to your node server. Node takes that HTTP request and provides it to you here on that object. That is what happens. So when you type in, you know, if you have a login page, which you're going to have, and you type in username, password, and you click, Chrome creates an HTTP request, it gets sent, and when it gets to you, it's in this object, and that's why you do request.on and get to it. Is what? Yeah, request. And then the response, what we send back, we send it back on the response option. The request is what's sent to us, and you notice how we do in here, we do response.render, res.render, res.send, right down here. All right, so see, the request came in here, and on the response, we're going to send something. HTTP request comes in, it's all the information is on this object, and then we use the response thing to send something back. That's the request response. Everything in HTTP is request response.
So when you're sending the prompts to the mustache that you use, you're literally sending all the HTML to the browser.
Yeah, the mustache engine runs, changes all those mustache tags into something, and it finally uses the response to send the HTML back to the browser. Cool. All right, so back to this sucker. These 4 lines of code. Does this object exist? No, it doesn't. Set it to an object. And now let's shorten it by setting a variable to that. Give me a 1 through 5 on those 4 lines of code. Great, let's move on. Now, this is that parse URL thing. All right, remember we looked at parse, we have a new project, new module we've never used before called parse URL. And if you pass it the request, it creates an object, and there's a property on that object called path name. All right, so, okay. Parse URL is something that we are requiring, something that I did an npm install on. Waiting for some All right, so see this second line here? Require parse URL? Yes. So earlier I did an npm install on parse URL, right? Then we went and looked at it and we saw that it had 12 million downloads in the last month. All right. So if you, I'm going, okay.
I just want to know what it does.
What it does,
Basically restate what you said.
okay. Parse URL, it's going to pick apart the URL. You remember the URL is what we type into the browser. It could be google.com, it could be mykittens.com or whatever. That's the URL. What we type in there, part of what we type in there is called the URL. That's pretty much the URL. Okay? And the URL, the path name of the URL is this. This path name is bar. This path name is foo. When you type something in your browser, like, I think Google's had, I'm just going to make one up. Example, this is HTTP. Oh, slow down. ://example.com. That has no path. That's just the domain name. If I do ABCD, ABCD is the path off of example.com. Okay? If I do anything else, yada, yada is the path. In that URL structure, whatever comes after the domain name is called the path. Okay? What this, and our routes here are, that has no path. Remember when we call that home or the root? That has, this path is foo, this path is bar. Okay? And maybe the path of that is just slash, I don't know. Okay? So what parse URL is going to do for us is we're going to say, here's the request that came in. I want to know what the path is. That's what this is. Parse URL. I'm going to pass you as an argument the request that came in. It's going to return an object, and that object is going to have a path name. So we set in our variable to the path name of the request that came in. Yeah, so it's going to be foo or bar. Okay? Again, let. Okay? Now, this, I'm not even going to go into this. I'm glad I rewrote this. Okay, let's look at this. This code is really hard to follow. This is what I would expect from a junior developer. So glad I rewrote this. Okay, so do you think this is an array or this is a property? It's not. It's a property. It's another way to access a property without dot. You remember that? And I don't know why JavaScript did it, but I guess this is old school, right? We pretty much use dot all the time. So let's change that to dot. Yeah. Count equals. Count equals. Hold on, I gotta think about this a second. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Another truthy falsy thing coming up. Let count equal this, whatever this is set to. If it doesn't exist, if it's falsy, if this doesn't return anything, I'm going to set count to 0. Very good stuff. Then I'm going to, otherwise, I'm gonna leave account alone. We'll put some council logs in here so you can see what's going on. I'm gonna add one account, and then I'm gonna set this thing to account. Let me run this, and then I'll show you how it works and try. Instead of trying to explain this beforehand, let's run it, and then I can explain it after we see how it works, okay? And then we're gonna council log. Okay. And I'm gonna put some council, here, I do have a council log in here.
You need to change that.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Let me run it and then we'll come back to it. Start it up. Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to go to foo. This probably goes to root. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, is that the way we're doing it? It's undefined. Path name. Give me a second. I have to do it old school. I don't know enough about it to change it at the moment. Ah, there we go. Okay. I owe you an explanation of this. I can't give it to you right now. It's not working the way I thought. And instead of getting down a rabbit hole like I want to say, I got to go off and come up with a quick explanation for it. I'll give it to you later. Okay. So, what happened? Oh, what happened was I just never use it. What happened is we kept track that root was hit one time. Let's go hit root again. Hit root. Root has been hit 2 times now. We're keeping this in session. Okay, let's go hit foo. Let's go hit foo like 3 times. Foo. What? This thing's falling apart on me, but that's okay. Here we go. We still get it. Huh? Yeah, tractor's still trying, even though I got it. So we hit root once, we hit root right, and now we've hit foo 1 time. Okay, tracker, even though I had an error, it's still going into my interceptor. Okay? And let me, yep, let me hit it a couple more times. Go here, thank goodness. So now, foo's been hit 4 times. Okay, even though I have an error, it's still going to that URL and something bad. Right? But that's not the point here. So let's see how the session is tracking those things that are coming in. All right? This is how it's doing it. The most important part of this is we set up a tracker on the session. Then we do this stuff here to keep track of it. Have I been here before? No. Set it to 0, set it to 1, set the count to this. This is using that tracker that I set up on the session here. It's using this tracker to keep track of how many times a URL has been hit. The most important takeaway that you get from this is that session survives from one call to another. Because my browser, this thing has set a cookie on my browser. Let me go look at that real quick. Cookies. Oh, 1 second. Here's the cookie that my node set on this browser. Every time my browser goes back to the node server, it passes this cookie along, and my node server says, oh, you've been here before, I have a session for you, okay? I have a session that you can use when you code to keep track of this person or this computer, right? What it does is that cookie comes in, node says, if the very first time when a browser comes in and it's never seen it before, it creates a session, uses this ID thing, passes the cookie back. Every time that cookie comes in, node says, do I know this cookie? Yes, I do. I'm going to make that session available to your code right here. Right here in request.session. Now, request.session is different for every browser that it gets it, because every browser will have its own session. It'll have its own different cookie that it's passing back to.
And if you clear your cookies, it's gonna start back over.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did that, right? Yeah, sure. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go do that. I think I can delete that cookie by clicking it right here. I remove that cookie. Let's go to localhost 3000. Let's go see what it says. It says, hey, I'm back at 1 because you're new to me. I haven't seen you before. Okay?
So it will not like look at that person's IP after that person has cleared the cookie from their browser. When they come back the new time, it reassigns a
New
brand
cookie.
new fresh one.
Yep.
You can't go in and go, hey, don't I know you from
Yeah.
somewhere? And reassign the cookie.
No, it doesn't use the MAC addresses. That MAC address is evasion of privacy. All right. Cookies are a way to say, if you don't send me a cookie, I'm going to send one back and it's a new session. But MAC addresses are to be avoided for, I don't even know if they're sent over the HTTPS. I don't think, if I picked apart the HTTPS request that comes from your browser to a server, I bet the MAC address isn't even there. But who knows, who for the first time heard the word MAC address? Okay, MAC address is the unique identifier of your network card on your system. MAC, I don't know what it means, but it uniquely identifies your computer. No, it's not Mac OS. It's, if you're on Windows, your hardware, your network hardware card has a Mac address. All right. Anyhow. Okay, so let's talk about Project Kickoff. Because things are going to get better when we talk about Project Kickoff. All right, should be visible.
Are we doing the weekly project or the daily?
Is this weekly or daily? Oh, that's weekly. Thank you. Bad. Not weekly. Daily. I could, but first I got to get it okayed. I just can't do that on my own. Create a site login. All right. Should I continue to record this? Probably so. All right. So there it is. There's your paragraph. Let's read this paragraph. What we got to do for our daily project. You can read it. I want to, can you read this on your own computer? I want to go do something. Anybody object to that? Okay. So this is what it's going to look like when you're done. Ready for this? I'm going to say go to localhost. I'm going to go to localhost 3000, and my interceptor is going to say you're not logged in, and it's going to send you a login. All right? Then when I log in and I successfully log in, I can finally go to root. I go to root, and it says, my interceptor said, no, no, no. I looked at your session. You're not logged in. I'm going to send, I'm going to use mustache and do a response render on this mustache. Okay? Now, if I type in something bad, if I, a user I don't know, blah, blah, it says, oh, no match for that. That doesn't exist. I gotta try to remember. I think I used my dog's name too. My kids named my dogs when they were 4 and 6 years old, okay? So don't blame me for the name. Ginger Snap. And the other one is caramel corn. Okay? So now I can go to root because I successfully logged in. My interceptor intercepted this, checked the session, said, okay, you logged in. Oh, the one thing I left out is, let me restart it. Let me go through the steps again in real time. Okay, I tried to go to the home directory. The interceptor checked session, said I hadn't logged in, and responded with this mustache page. Okay? When I do log in and I go to the post for login in my root, because this form is going to post, right? This form, if we look at the page source, this form is posting to the login root, right? So when it posts to the login root, the interceptor still intercepts it. And what I did in my interceptor, I said, hey, it's login, just go next. Let it continue on. All right? So I checked the path in my interceptor, and I said, it's the login route, call next. Let it continue on to the login route. My login route then said, I have an array of logins. I have an array of username login. I go through my array of username logins, and I see if one of them match. And if it matches, then I go to the session, and I sent something on the session. I said, login is true. Okay? And then I redirect them to home. Okay, so let me write those steps down. Let me write those steps down because that's a lot of words.
What if it wasn't
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to say browser wants to go to /, okay? Or, localhost, that's localhost 3000 /, okay? Browser wants to go to /. Interceptor does 3 things. It says, the interceptor says, is the path login next? Okay? If it's login, I'm going to let it through. I'm going to call next. Okay? This is not login. What's the path of this one? /, right? So if the path is login /, else, I should say else if, user session login is true, next. Else redirect our response dot render the login page. How's that for what the interceptor needs to do? Okay? Interceptor. If the log path is login, let it go. Otherwise, it's not. Otherwise, I'm going to see if they're logged in. If they are logged in, if I have set session login true, I'll let it go to next, wherever they're going. I'll put ready. Else, I'm going to go